In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the weight updations in the output layer, and now we are going to discuss about the weight updations in the hidden layer. So let us now start our discussion. So here we continue our backward pass by calculating the new values for the weights W1, W2, W3 and W4. So this is the error at the output neuron 1 and this is the error at the output neuron 2, and the total error of the network will be the error at output neuron 1 plus the error at output neuron 2. Now the change in the total error energy with respect to the change in weight 1 can be given by the chain rule, which we have discussed already in the previous class, right? So I am not going to elaborate more on how did we get this one. So first of all, we will be calculating this part, that is the change in the total error energy with respect to the change in the output of the hidden layer neuron H1. So the change in the total error energy with respect to the change in the output
of hidden neuron H1
is equal to the change in the error energy for the output neuron O1 with respect to the change in the output value of the hidden neuron H1 plus the change in the error energy for the output neuron O2 with respect to the change in the output value of the hidden neuron H1. So there is nothing to confuse here. What we are going to find? We are going to find the change in the total error energy with respect to the change in the weight 1, right? So for this, what we are going to do, first of all, we are going to calculate the change in the total error energy with respect to the change in the output value of the hidden neuron H1. Okay, so from this again we are going to calculate the change in the output value of the hidden neuron H1 with respect to the change in the input to this particular neuron H1, and then we are going to calculate the change
in the net input of hidden neuron H1
with respect to the change in the weight 1. Okay, so let us now calculate this first part, which is given by this one. So one thing to note here is each hidden layer neuron contributes to the output of the multiple output neurons. So if you see here, this hidden layer neuron contributes to the output of the neuron O1 and output of the output neuron O2, and thereby it also contributes to the error value of the output neuron 1 and also to the error value of the output neuron 2, which means the output value of the hidden neuron H1 will affect the output value of the output layer neuron O1 and the output value of the output layer neuron O2. Okay. So now coming back, the change in the total error energy with respect to the change in the output value of H1 is equal to the change in the error energy at output neuron 1 with respect to the change in the output value of the H1 plus dou E output neuron 2 by dou the output value of H1. So now let us take this particular term. So to calculate this particular term, again we have to calculate the change in the error energy of output neuron 1 with respect to the change in the net input value of the output neuron 1 into the change in the net input value of the output neuron 1 with respect to the change in the output value of H1. Okay. Again, this value can be calculated as the change in the error energy of the output neuron 1 with respect to the change in the output value of output neuron 1 into the change in the output value of the output neuron 1 with respect to the change in the net input value of the output neuron 1. So these values we have already calculated. So we got these as the values, and the final value is 0.138498562. So now we have to calculate this second term now, that is the change in the net input of the output neuron 1 with respect to the change in the output value of hidden neuron 1. So we already know that the net input to the output neuron 1 is W5 into the output value of the hidden neuron H1 plus W6 into the output value of the hidden neuron H2 plus the bias value B2 into 1. So now partially derivating this, again we will be getting only W5 because all the other values will be treated as constant. So we have only W5. So the change in the net input of the output neuron 1 with respect to the change in the output value of the hidden neuron 1 will be given by W5, which is the value we have already 0.40 in our assumption. So finally from this equation, that is now we have got this value and this value. So we are calculating this value, that is the change in the error energy of the output neuron 1 with respect to the change in the output value of the hidden neuron 1 is equal to, so we substitute this value and this value. So we are going to get 0.0553999425. So here we have calculated the value for the output neuron 1, that is we have calculated the error energy for the output neuron 1. Similarly, we can calculate the error energy for the output neuron 2 also. So we got this value. So what is the total value now we can get, that is the total change in the error energy with respect to the change in the output value of the hidden neuron 1 will be given by error energy at output neuron 1 plus error energy at output neuron 2. Just now we calculated, right? So if we add these two values, we will be getting 0.036350306. So till now we have found out the first term here, right? So now we have to again find out this term, the second term and the third term also. So this is our second term and this is our third term. So now we know that the output value of the hidden neuron 1 is given by the activation function 1 by 1 plus e power minus the net input to hidden neuron h1. So now differentiating this, we get this value, that is output value at h1 into 1 minus the output value of h1. So this finally gives us 0.241300709. Okay. And also we know that the net input value at hidden neuron h1 will be the weight W1 into I1 plus weight W3 into I2 plus the bias B1 into 1. So this one, okay. So the net input to the hidden neuron h1 will be the weight W1 into input 1 and the weight W2 into input 2, and we also have a bias which is connected to this hidden neuron 1. Okay. So now differentiating this particular net input to the hidden neuron 1 with respect to the weight 1, again we will be having this particular term only because these two will be treated as constants. So we already know that the initial assumption of the input value 1 is 0.05. So now putting all the three terms together, that is the change in the total error energy with respect to the change in the weight W1. So putting all these values, we got 0.000438568. So now what we have to do, now we have to update the weight of the W1. So the new updated value will be equal to old value of the weight 1 minus eta into change in the total error energy with respect to the change in the weight 1. So old value of weight 1 is 0.15 minus, we assume that the eta value is 0.5 into, we got this value as 0.000438568, which is nothing but this value. So the updated value of the weight 1 is 0.149780716. So we can repeat the same process for updating the weight 2 values, weight 3 value and weight 4 value. So we will be getting the updated values of weight 2, weight 3 and weight 4, which is given by W2 plus, W3 plus and W4 plus. So finally what we wanted to say here is that we have updated all the weights, right? And the second point to note is original inputs we have input 1 equal to 0.05 and input 2 equal to 0.1. So when the inputs are like this, the error on the network is 0.298371109. But after the first round of backpropagation algorithm, that is after implementing this backpropagation algorithm, the error on the network has reduced to 0.291027924. So if we repeat this backpropagation algorithm for 10,000 times, for the first time we may not notice that much difference between the previous value and the present value. But if we repeat the same process, that is if we repeat the same backpropagation algorithm for let us say 10,000 times, the error on the network now came back to the 0.0000351085, which is a significant reduce in the error value when compared to the initial error we got. That is now the output, that is the actual output we got is somewhat nearer to the desired output or target output of the network. That is at this particular point, if the input 1 is 0.05 and the input 2 is 0.1, the output 1 value we have got is, that is the output at the output neuron 1 we got 0.059129196. So where we assumed our initial desired output to be 0.01. So we find that the actual value we have also got is approximately equal to 0.01, and also the output value at the output neuron 2 we got is 0.984065, versus the actual target value or the desired value we have assumed is 0.99. That is, after 10,000 times of applying this back propagation algorithm, the output values at the output neuron 1 and output neuron 2 are approximately equal to the target values or desired values which we have assumed. So this is all about how the back propagation algorithm is going to work out with the help of numbers. So now the question is, how often are the weights updated? So for this question we have three answers. The first one is updating the weights after every sample in the training set. The second one is updating in batch, and the third answer is randomized mini batches. So in the first strategy, we run the forward pass for every sample, and then we calculate the optimal weights, and then we are going to update. But this kind of approach is a time consuming approach for the larger training sets. The second strategy is updating in batches. That is, here we divide the training samples into several large batches, and then we'll run a forward pass on all the training samples in a batch, and then we calculate the back propagation on all the samples together. This approach makes the model more resistant to the outliers and variance in the training set. And the third kind of strategy is randomized mini batches. So this approach is a compromise between the first two approaches. That is, we randomly select the small batches from the training data and run forward pass and then the back propagation on each of the batches iteratively. So the last thing to discuss is the back propagation in real life. So as we have discussed the algorithm in the previous lectures, generally in real time, we probably do not run the back propagation explicitly in our code. Rather, the deep learning frameworks have their own built-in implementations of back propagation. So these frameworks simply run the back propagation algorithms for us. Okay. So this is all about the information of back propagation. Thank you.